All right. So, Jackie, thank you for joining us today on the call to help people learn a little bit more about Fetch Pet Care. Before we get into it and ask some questions, I'd love to hear just a little bit about your background and what did you do before Fetch and where are you located now with your business and how many years have you been doing it?
Okay, so I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, just north of Pittsburgh, probably maybe 20 minutes or so. I was born and raised here. Family is still here. Um, I'm married with my husband now for almost 10 years, and we have one daughter. She's 7. I am also a PGA golf professional, and that's what I had done previous to this, working in the club atmosphere, working as an assistant golf professional at a pretty prestige club here in Pittsburgh, the club at Nevillewood. Um, I was there for about 8 years, and after having my daughter, I kind of had a coming to, and I needed something to allow me not to work 80 hours plus a
Understood.
week. So I needed to find something, and just being a stay-at-home mom was not one of those options. So we kind of I've been in Fetch now and involved for 6 years. I love it, and I would not change anything on it. It gives me the flexibility to be with my family, run a business that I always thought that I would be running some form of a business from even a young child and kind of growing up. So, not sure that I knew it was going to be pet care, but I've loved pets and I don't regret anything that I've done.
That's awesome. And I'll say, coming from the PGA, the PGA Golf Pro background, that's in the hospitality industry as well. So you're still
Yes.
serving. You've got different clients. You went from serving golfers to serving pets and
Yeah,
and pet owners. And like you mentioned, I think having that passion is important. You have a passion for pets, and it's nice to own your own business and do your own thing, but that passion is really what makes our owners stand out is they care about the pets like they're their own.
absolutely.
Yeah. And I know you mentioned that you've been doing it for 6 years, which is great. What made you choose Fetch over some of the other opportunities out there?
So it's kind of interesting how we came into Fetch and why I chose Fetch for this opportunity. And we bought an existing location. The previous owners were looking to retire and step away and not be working as much as they were getting into their 60s, which is completely understandable. I knew them from my golf background, um, along with my business partner knowing them from another investment that they were involved with. And so we kind of sat down with a meeting, and I kind of fell in love with the business,
Mm.
with what they had done with the business, and the reputation that came with it so far. So, from that standpoint, it really stood out to us as a great opportunity to invest and to kind of take over the location instead of trying to look at something else that we'd have to start from the ground, so to speak.
Understood. And that's really what it is about. It's going in a franchise because, you always hear that adage. It's you're in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself. So
Right.
that's great that you get to do that. And, you found a system, like you said, that's already in place and you can come in and really launch that in your market and grow and expand and bring a great service to the community. I really like that. Now, I know 6 years into business, you've been through some probably pretty interesting times in the world. Nobody's under a rock these days, so we know what's going on. But I would love to hear, from your perspective, can you share a story about a time that the support team over at Fetch has helped you get through a challenge in your business to move forward?
Um, so there have been many times that
Hmm.
the support team has helped overcome challenges over the past 6 years. Um, between Heather stepping up and answering questions and getting responses quickly to issues that I have. To the big thing that really kind of stands out to me is our app MyFetch that we have that we utilize for scheduling and billing purposes. The IT team that supports the MyFetch app, they are so quick to responses. And a lot of times it's questions or issues that come up with clients,
Hmm.
whether they're having issues logging in, they're having issues with looking at something, scheduling, and they shoot us or get to us with messages. And I look at it, and if I don't know what the heck's going on or why it didn't happen, I shoot the message off to the IT team, and they're very quick in responding and getting an answer back to me so I can then relay back to the client with what went on and what happened. So it really looks like we have the support there, and really kind of backing the clients to show them why they're choosing us, why they want to choose Fetch over someone else, because we are there to help in any instance, so to speak. So we're not hanging them, and they're kind of just there like, well, what am I to do? Where,
Yeah.
where are they at? Well, this is so difficult. I'm just going to go somewhere else. So, giving that personal touch, and that local feeling to them that, we can provide the service that they're expecting.
That's great. And you mentioned the Fetch app, and I think a lot of people who look into the business, they don't understand, they don't realize that there's an app on your phone that you can pick up. And like you said, it's a one-stop shop to get the appointments booked for billing and everything.
Yes.
Can you share a little bit more? I mean, I guess how the app has helped your business, because so many places people think I just have to go online or have to call a number. But how does the app work for you? And I know you're still interacting with the customers, but I'd love to hear
Yes.
how you and your team utilize the app on a daily basis.
Well, when I first came on, the app was not launched yet.
Hmm.
So we had an old system, and it was kind of I want to say a guessing game,
Hmm.
um, if and where the sitters were, and if they did complete services. So it was kind of a lot more hearsay between clients and sitters of issues coming up. So I will say that the app has negated a lot of those issues because the sitters are actually clocking in, they're getting tracked, and everything else. And like I tell the sitters anyway, there's always cameras watching you, regardless of where you are at. So um, this system has really streamlined for me, knowing that our staff is where they need to be, making sure services are getting completed, making sure there's no issues with services that are getting completed, along with streamlining lining the invoices and the billing, and it's all done automatically. And I don't have to sit there and write invoices and make sure they get sent and make sure the cards charged are getting charged. I will say it used to take me 5 to 6 hours to do billing and payroll. I'm now down to less than probably 40 minutes for running billing,
That's
on a
great.
monthly basis, and I'm probably down to maybe an hour, if that, for running payroll. And that's just double checking and making sure that I didn't miss anything, making sure the charges were correct, that kind of stuff. So we don't have any errors on our end with getting the sitters paid. So it has really helped, from that standpoint, and it's really allowed more trust with the clients and the sitters, with what is going on.
That's great. And I think you hit that key term there, trust. It's that transparency. And we're in today's world to where people are back in the office. They're not with their pets every day, but they want to know what's
Right.
happening with their pets every day. And
Absolutely.
they trust you and they trust your staff to update them on a regular basis. It's the photos, it's the text, it's the tracking them on the map. Sometimes it's not even saying, is my dog safe? It's I want to see where my dog went today. So what path did they take? So you're getting to like watch it in real time to see how far your dog walked and why they stopped at that same tree for the 15th time. So it's that experience to where you get to watch that even though you're not the one walking your dog at the time. You still get
Yeah.
to be there with your dog in a sense. So that's amazing.
Yep.
Um, well, I'd love to. Can you tell us about a client or a customer that you've worked with where it just really stood out and made you proud of your team in your 6 years in the business? Like a
There's
project,
several.
like a job that you worked on or something.
There are several instances. I'm proud of my team day in and day out with the level of care that they provide to our
Hmm.
clients and listening to such the positive feedbacks that we get from the clients on a regular basis. But I will say, we have done a lot of unique, different services throughout the 6 years. One we had for a little over 2 years. The gentleman is a paraplegic.
Mm.
He was in and out of the hospital with bed wounds and trying to rehab stuff, and he had 6 cats at home.
Mm.
And also, the health team coming in was very reluctant to come in to give him home care due to the amount of cats in his house. We would go in twice a day, clean litter boxes, make sure the cats are fed when he was not home, making sure the house was upkept, and there was no messes, there was no issues. But then once he did make it back home, we did come in because he was unable to get out of bed to go clean the litter boxes and make sure the cats were taken care of to the level that they needed to be, and to make sure his house stayed in a condition, a livable condition, to be able to keep him at home. So we went in then on a regular basis to go ahead and clean those litter boxes, change them out, do what we needed to do. He kind of became part of our family as well.
Hmm.
We had a rotation of sitters that we worked on a schedule to ensure the care was there, and everything was taken care of for him. So, that's one that really stands out. We've also done a couple different clients in rehab or assisted living
Mm.
type facilities that have dogs or cats of their own, and they're rehabbing from something, or they're not able to get their pets out for a walk, and we coordinate with them with what they're looking for and get a team in place to go ahead and do the care that they're asking for to get in place. And when those things happen, I will say my team kind of rallies around, and we get the job done, and everyone enjoys it also because they also get the little bit of camaraderie with the person, and kind of get to know them a little bit more. So I feel that our clients are kind of like our extended family. We get to know them, their pets, and it's just a very well, um, it's just enjoyable.
I love that. I mean, those are the stories that make it worth it. I said I know everybody goes into business because they want to grow a business and they want to make money. But those sort of things, they they stand out because that's the why of what you do. You get to be a part of the community, and that's just really special.
Yes.
Now I appreciate that, and I think that shows just the level of going above and beyond just doing the job just to send the invoice. You're doing the job because you care, and I again I love that. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, no problem at all.
Yeah. Um, let's see here. The great information so far. I guess every day people are looking into fetch, and they're wanting to bring fetch into their community. If you were speaking to somebody who was looking at this day one, or you 6 years ago looking at this day one, what advice would you give somebody starting out in the business?
Well, you got to be willing, and the drive's got to be there, to want to be successful. I feel we all have a moral standard of what we feel is right and ethical,
Hmm.
as a business, but you got to have the drive and the want.
Yeah.
You got to have that there to because it's not easy starting from the ground up, right? I mean, yes, we got the app, we got everything that there is, but you got to want put your head down, so to speak, and drive to get those clients and strive to get the reputation that you're looking to have, so then you can continue to grow your business, because that's what's going to help, is that word of mouth from,
Hmm.
each person. They're within a company of how many people, that probably everyone has a pet of some sort, and going into it, and they go, oh my gosh, I had this person. And I don't know how many referrals we have like that, of just
Hmm.
clients, and they reaching out and going, oh, we heard from so and so, and we want to go ahead, and look into this service or what we're looking for. So it's exciting. It's great to hear about that, because that's what's going to keep you growing. That's what's going to keep you successful in those instances. And I always say too, you got to have the right staff too on board with you to help round everything out, because you're only one person. You can't go do all the visits and do everything. So in order to grow, you got to have those sitters and the staff there to help with those services. So I always tell my sitters I have an open door policy. Even though we don't technically see each other, we don't have an in-office area and different things. We're a lot, computer-based, sending emails, asking for things. But I try to have camaraderie with sitter night outs periodically
Hmm.
throughout the year. I do different type of scavenger hunts throughout the year, or photo contests for the sitters to get involved with. I also I try to do a sitter picnic once a year to get all the sitters together, listen to their stories. Sitter Appreciation Week is usually the first full week of March. So I always try to pick a couple different areas throughout the day that the sitters can stop by and get lunch, get a beverage, coffee, a smoothie, something between their walks to take on with them, and to tell them how much we appreciate them. I also give top sitter awards out at the end of the year for those that have really stepped up, really showed forth what we strive to be from that. So there's things that I do that way to try to help with the longevity of our sitters, and to try to be there. And there's an issue that they can come to me, they can talk to me, that there is no what I say to be closed doors, or there is no dumb question. If
Hmm.
there's any issues that rise up that you're like, I don't know about this, come to me, talk to me, let's discuss it. Let's see if there is a solution to the situation, or is there something that we can do to try to make it more enjoyable for you for that visit. Whether it's a dog that's pulling, it's a cat who's difficult with trying to get through the house
Yeah.
and getting everything situated. So that support there, I feel the sitters really appreciate, and showing that I don't have a high turnover rate of sitters. They're with me for periods of time. I mean, I still have sitters who are part of um, the fetch team here that have been with the previous owners.
Mm.
And I have sitters who have been on with me now for 6 years since I brought them on whenever I first started. So, um, to kind of have that, I say, you gotta be there for the support for your staff as well, and listen to them.
So that's huge. I think, what you talked about was with those different events that you host, it's really building a company culture. When you go and you go into a business for yourself, there's a reason why you choose that business, because you find the company culture at the corporate headquarters something you want to be a part of. But I think so often there's a miss. People say, well, I'm just going to hire people. They're going to work for me. They're going to collect a paycheck. But you create a company culture, which is huge by hosting those events, and that's why you have that longevity of sitters. That's amazing. And I think that's what helps people stand out. And you're not just changing your family's life, you're changing the family's lives of the people that work for you and the people you serve on a daily basis. So I love that. I love the idea of doing those events, because it just shows that you care and you want them to be part of it, and you want them to feel comfortable in the day to day of what they do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. I couldn't said it any better myself. I love everything you're saying. This is amazing. Now I got one more question, and I'll let you go because I'm sure you got plenty of sitters to take care of today and plenty of pets to look after. But so far in your 6 years with Fetch, I'd love to hear what's been the most rewarding part of your journey so far.
Oh, um, I think the most rewarding is just listening to our clients and the feedback that they give
Hmm.
us, and how positive or how great the sitters are, or what the sitter did that really kind of stood out to the client with the service that they got. So that to me is the most rewarding. Um, you know, yes, you want to be in business, you want to grow, you want to do everything, but in order to do that, if you don't have those clients that are giving that positive feedback to really promote why you should be chosen
Hmm.
over another pet sitting company out there, then you're not going to grow as quickly as you hope. So, being able to do that, or, I go out, we know all the pets by name,
Hmm.
more so than the clients. So, we see the photos and stuff. So if I go out and I meet up with a sitter and it's like, oh, who's this today? And, so it's nice to kind of get a little bit of that connection um, as well. So yeah, it's, that personal touch I
Hmm.
go back to, it's a local business. You're in your community, you're striving, you're doing things. One of the big things we have coming up, there's two big events that we are part of our community. This next weekend, we're part of the Fur Ball for the Humane Society that we're a big sponsor for. So that is one of the big ones. The other one is a kids. I know it's not directed towards pets, but we do a kids rise and reach program. So keeping
Mm.
kids in the community safe and giving them outlets to be able to get mentors and give them a better route in life versus the streets or drugs or any of that. And we are a big promoter of the rise and reach program and getting those mentors in place and having the programs for them to go ahead and do that. So, um, being able to give back to our community as well in a positive way is awesome.
That's awesome. I love that. So that's why, that's why you do what you do every day, so you can get up and, like I said, you can give back to the community. You can get to know the pets. It's uh, all of that. Just that really just stands out to why you've been doing this for 6 years. It's because you have a passion for it. And you have a passion for who you serve, and again, it's you're not just out there, you're part of the community. You're involved in the community on a day-to-day basis. So, uh, Jackie, everything you shared was great. I appreciate that. Thank you for taking the time to give some information and insight on the business.
No
And
problem.
I just really appreciate what you do and every day for Fetch, and every day for your community as well. Thank you. Thank you for doing this today.